Welcome back to another episode of Southern Sorcery. Today we're doing something a little bit different. The Mardu Precon has come out now for Tarkir Dragonstorm. However, it came out on a channel that only speaks Spanish, so we're going to do a quick rundown of the deck for you guys that don't speak Spanish, and we'll just go over the new cards and the reprints really quickly. We will, of course, go ahead and do our normal budget upgrade video. That'll come out tomorrow, but today we wanted to jump on this while we could to try to get it to you guys as quickly as possible. Shout out to Infrecuentes. That's the channel that had the reveal. They did a great job with it. Shout out to them, and yeah, go check theirs out too if you want. Anyway, let's look at the commander. This is Zurgo Stormrender. Again, this is for the Mardu Surge Precon that just is getting ready to come out in Tarkir Dragonstorm. And at the helm of this deck is Zurgo Stormrenderer. He costs Mardu, which means red, white, black. So that color combination is referred to as Mardu. Legendary Orc Warrior is a 3/3 with Mobilize 1. And Mobilize 1 definition here. Whenever this creature attacks, create a tapped and attacking 1/1 red warrior creature token. Sacrifice it at the beginning of the next end step. So very in line with what you see with black and white doing together a lot of times is making tokens and then sacrificing the tokens. Whenever a creature token you control leaves the battlefield, draw a card if it was attacking. Otherwise, each opponent loses 1 life. So if you sack a token or a token dies that wasn't attacking, each opponent is going to lose a life. So that's a crazy payoff. So sack outlets galore, I'm assuming, is what we're going to want in this deck. Otherwise, you're going to draw a card if it was attacking. So when it dies in combat, then you'll draw a card. So really great value for this commander. It pings our opponents for life loss. It draws us cards and it generates tokens. That for 3 is really good. Zurgo looks to be a really, really good commander. And then the backup commander in this one is Nerev, Crackling Vanguard. This is a new spirit dragon for the Mardu clan. This is 2 red, white, black for a spirit dragon that's a 4/4 with flying and death touch. When it enters, make 2 1/1 red goblin creature tokens. And then whenever Nerev attacks, exile a number of cards from the top of your library equal to the number of differently named tokens you control. During any turn you attacked with a commander, you may play those cards. So it's letting us play cards from exile, which is card advantage. So not card draw per se, but again, a good backup commander that does similar things, that synergizes well with the face commander. We're making more tokens on ETB, and then we're also going to be able to have card advantage. So another really good commander, plus a 4/4 with flying and death touch. I mean, yowza. So those are the 2 face commanders, and then let's go ahead and take a look at the rest of the new cards that were made just for this precon. We're going to start with Anok Strike Leader. It is 1 and a white for a dog warrior. So interestingly enough, in the artwork, riding a cat beast. So like this dog warrior that's riding this massive cat was really good. I hope people put that in their cats and dogs decks just because of the flavor win. But whenever you attack with this creature and or your commander, for each opponent, create a 1/1 red goblin creature token that's tapped and attacking that player. So you could swing this one at one player, swing your commander at another player, then they're each going to make a 1/1 goblin that's tapped and attacking. Then you can sacrifice this creature, and creature tokens you control gain indestructible until the end of turn. So sort of like a Selfless Spirit type effect. Next, we've got Bone Devourer. This is a dragon. It is 3 and a black, has flash and flying. When this creature enters the battlefield with a number of 1/1 counters on it equal to the number of creatures that died this turn. So really nice to cast after a board wipe. When this creature dies, you draw X cards and lose X life, where X is the number of 1/1 counters on it. So even if it comes in and you have a way to add more counters to it, which we're in white, we probably do. I haven't checked the rest of this deck out yet, so... But yeah, drawing a bunch of cards too, potentially. We also have Gold Lust Triad. This is another dragon with flying and myriad. It is 4 red for a 4/3. Whenever this creature deals combat damage to a player, make a treasure token. This is going to see a lot of play in a lot of other decks, I think, as well. Making treasures is a common theme among dragons, so a lot of decks are built around creating treasures. Next, we have Infantry Shield. This is 2 and a red for an artifact equipment. Equipped creature has Menace and Mobilize X, where X is its power, and then the equip cost here is 2. We also have Iron Will Forger. This is an Orc Artificer, has Lieutenant. At the beginning of combat on your turn, if you control your commander, target non-legendary creature you control gains Myriad until the end of turn. So that's also really good. Then we have Redoubled Storm Singer. This is an Orc Wizard. For 2 and a red, has First Strike. Whenever this creature attacks, for each creature token you control that enter the this turn, create a tapped and attacking token that's a copy of that token. At the beginning of the next end step, sacrifice those tokens. So more token generation. They sack themselves at the end of turn, which is really nice. We're going to get those payoffs from our commander and our backup commander. Next, we have Will of the Mardu. Again, the Will cycle is they've made one for each of the precons, one for each of the clans. This one is 2 and a white, and then choose one. If you control your commander, as you cast this spell, you may choose both instead. So create a number of 1/1 red warrior creature tokens equal to the number of creatures target player controls, so yourself or an opponent. And then the second one is Will of the Mardu deals damage to target creature equal to the number of creatures you control. So it can come in and be a big removal spell or help you go wide, or both. And then our last new card is called Within Range. I love the artwork on this. It's an enchantment for 3 and a black, and it says when this enchantment enters, make 2 1/1 red warrior creature tokens. Then whenever you attack, each opponent loses life equal to the number of creatures attacking them. Again, paying off these tokens, going wide, dealing non-combat damage. These effects are all going to compile, and this is going to just keep draining the table. So this deck looks awesome so far. Now that we've looked at the new cards, let's just quickly run down everything else that's here in this deck, just so you guys know. The deck list is on Moxfield, so you guys can also go ahead over there to check that out. Not sponsored. But first up, we've got Kaya the Geist Hunter, Planeswalker Kaya. We've also got Adeline Resplendent Cathar, more token generation. We've got Angel of Invitation, has Fabricate, so more tokens. Aaron Benalia's Ruin, sacrificing stuff, so sack outlet. We've got Beetleback Chief, a goblin, makes more tokens. Chittering Witch makes more tokens. Emeria Angel has landfall to make more tokens, you guessed it. Great reprint here. We've got Gix, Yawgmoth Praetor. When a creature deals combat damage to one of your opponents, its controller may pay 1. If they do, draw a card, or then you can pay 4 and 3 black to discard X cards, exile the top cards of target opponent's library, and you can play lands and cast spells from among the cards exiled this way without paying their mana cost. So Gix can be really good. Next, we have Gold Knight Commander. When another creature enters, creatures get 1/1 till the end of turn. So again, with the going to combat and the commander making 2, creatures are going to get at least +2/+2. We've got lots of other ways to make stuff, as you can already tell. We also have Grenzo Havoc Razor, pays off dealing combat damage. Hero of Blade Hold has Battle Cry. When it attacks, make 2 1/1s, more token generation. Legion Warboss, 2 and a red, has Mentor, make some more tokens. Loyal Apprentice, make some tokens. Mindblade Renderer, whenever your opponents are dealt combat damage, if any of that damage was dealt by a warrior, you draw a card and lose a life. So we make a lot of warriors. We have a lot of warriors. That's also going to include our opponents hitting each other if they have warriors. So this is a good card in this deck for sure. We've got a great staple here for aristocrats type decks, which is Morbid Opportunist. When one or more other creatures die, draw a card. It only triggers once a turn, but Morbid Opportunist can draw some cards. We've got Mere Battlesphere. Mere Battlesphere is good in this deck because it makes a whole bunch of tokens, and then you can tap tokens to buff it up. Interesting that it's in this deck to me. We've got Ogre Battle Driver. 2 red. When another creature enters the battlefield, it gains +2/+0 and haste. So again, paying off those tokens that we're making every turn. Ophiomancer, 2 and a black. At the beginning of each upkeep, if you control no snakes, create a 1/1 black snake creature token with Death Touch. So this is at the beginning of each upkeep, so your opponent's and your own. So if you have a sack outlet on board and you can get a payoff for it, you can make a new one every turn after you sack it. If you don't sack it, though, you won't make one because it says if you control no snakes. So you have to control no snakes for this to trigger. So in an ideal world, you have a sack outlet that does something for you, or you have other payoffs. So every turn you're making a new token. Next, we have Selfless Spirit, 1 and a white, and you can sacrifice it, and creatures you control gain indestructible until the end of turn. So a good way to protect a wide board state. Next, we've got Siege Gang Commander. When it enters, make more tokens. Solemn Simulacrum is going to ramp and then draw cards when it dies. We also have Sun Titan, which is recursion, which is great because most of our stuff is going to be able to be recurred by him. Next, we have Thylese Reverent Medium, a human cleric. At the beginning of each end step, make X 1/1 spirit tokens with flying, where X is the number of tokens you created this turn. So at least on our turn, if we have our commander out, we're making 2. So that's going to trigger Thylese to make 2 minimum. Next, we have Twilight Drover. When a creature token leaves the battlefield, put a 1/1 counter on it, and then you can pay 2 and a white and remove a counter to make more tokens. We also have Viscera Seer, great sack outlet. We have Yahini, and he has haste. Whenever a creature an opponent controls dies, put a 1/1 counter on him, and then you can sack another creature, and it gains indestructible until the end of turn. So again, another good outlet for us to sack stuff too. It just gives us a way to kill our own things, which is absolutely a necessity in this deck. Under sorceries, we've got Eliminate the Competition, Hour of Reckoning, a board wipe, which is really great because it's destroy all non-token creatures. Lingering Souls makes more tokens. Release the Dogs makes more tokens. Shadow Summoning, and then Tempt with Vengeance, those both create tokens as well. Under Instance, we've got Abrade, which is going to be spot removal for us. Bitter Triumph, Deadly Dispute, going to draw some cards, also sacrifice a creature. Grand Crescendo is going to make a whole bunch of tokens. Stroke of Midnight is spot removal, and then Sources of Plowshares is spot removal as well. Then under Artifacts, we've got some Mana Rocks. We've got Arcane Signet, Felwar Stone, Soul Ring, Talisman of Conviction, and Talisman of Hierarchy. And we also have Wayfarer's Bauble. So that's not a mana rock, but it can ramp us. It goes and gets a land anyway. And then a couple other artifacts that are not rocks are Blade of Selves. So that's going to give target equipped creature Myriad. And in this deck, you could still equip it to a legendary because the token copies will come in and just immediately die. So if you want the payoffs, you can still get those technically. And we also have Idol of Oblivion, which will draw us cards if we made a token this turn. Great. We also have got Skull Clamp, which is going to draw a ton of cards, especially with all the 1/1s we're making. Great addition here. And then lastly, we've got our enchantments, which are Bastion of Remembrance, more token generation, and a death payoff. When a creature you control dies, each opponent loses 1 life and you gain a life, so that can ping our opponents quickly. We've got Commander's Insignia. Creatures you control get 1/1 for each time you've cast your commander from the command zone this game. Divine Visitation. If 1 or more tokens would be created under your control, that many 4/4 White Angel tokens are created instead. So turning those 1/1s into 4/4 flyers can be really good and close games out. We also have Legion Loyalty for 8, which is a lot, but creatures you control have Myriad. So again, swinging out when you go to combat, they have Myriad, you're going to make a copy, and then those copies are going to die. This is perfect synergy with the commander. And then we also have Toska's Welcome. When a creature with mana value 3 or less, which is going to be all these tokens, enters a battlefield under your control, draw a card. It only triggers once a turn, but we've got ways to make creatures on lots of other turns as well. So this could do some serious card draw for us. Under lands, notable lands, we've got Bajuka Bog, which is Graveyard Hate. We've got Castle Ardenvale, which can make tokens. Let's see what else we've got here. Mana. Everything else is mana. Vault of the Archangel. You can pay 2 white, black, and creatures you control gain Death Touch and Lifelink until the end of turn. So you've got a big go wide board. You want to do this and gain a bunch of life and get through the damage. That's a good way to go in a go wide strategy. That's great. And then we also have Windbrisk Heights, which is a hideaway land. So hideaway is a mechanic that says the land enters tapped, and when it does, you look at the top 4 cards of your library, exile 1 of them face down, and then later you can pay a white and tap Windbrisk Heights to play the exiled card without paying its mana cost if you attacked with 3 or more creatures this turn. So the hideaway lands can be really good depending on what you hit when you exile those 4. So that is it, guys. That is the deck reveal for Mardu Surge. Again, big shout out to Infrecuentes for putting out their video, and go over there, like their channel, give them a follow, give them a sub. And on the same lines, please like and subscribe. It helps us out a ton. We are a smaller channel. We are growing every single day, and we appreciate you guys stopping in. Thanks so much, and we hope you have a good one. We'll see you in the next one. Bye.